Hi everyone, my name is PURPL3X10N and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to rank all the playable classes in W101 Part 101 based on how much I enjoyed them. Feel free to leave your own lists down below in the comment section and remember to be respectful to all. With all that out of the way, let's go ahead and start with the Part 101 classes. So, first of all, let's start with Privateer. This may be surprising to those who play Pirate but have never heard of me or never watched me, but I'm a privy main. Yeah, people say it's slow, people say it's weak, and I can't really disagree with that, but it is really fun, at least if you make it fun. It gets really fun near end game, depending on the setup you go for. Like, if you go for Repel 5, maybe Raid 5, it might get boring. But with the setups I do, I tend to go more offensive Privateer, so I kill enemies kind of as soon as they make contact with me. I support my companions, they do loads of damage. The buffs are also really good. Battle Zeal, Enduring Discipline, Spirit of Corpse. And what I really love about the class is that it can prosper without Scratch as well. Like, Scratch isn't needed for Privy, like he's optional, but you don't really need him. That's why I really love the class. You can run any companion you want, any setup you want, you'll get away with it because you're a Privateer. They're also really tanky, which is also what I really love. And I've been playing it quite a lot. I decided this class was for me because I really like supporting others and I really like being versatile when it comes to the setups. I feel like Privateer is the most versatile class when it comes to setups because they have many buffs they can fall back on, which is really amazing. I think the class is a really good class. I think people downplay it a little too much in my opinion. But you know, Privateer is not for everyone. Alright, so I think the next class will have to be Musketeer. Musketeer for me is just really enjoyable, mainly because it's pretty easy. Musketeer pretty much steamrolls everything in this game. Yeah, there's a few bosses, mobs who may counter Musketeer, but for the most part, Musketeers are really quick at killing enemies, especially if they have Overwatch, Burst Fire, Double Tap. Musketeers can run very broken setups. It's also just really nice for solo farming or team farming, especially if you go will-based runs for scratch buffs, but I tend to solo a lot, so most of the time I solo farm, and usually Musket is the best option for me because, you know, you don't have to worry about melee enemies getting close to you. Even without Overwatch 5, you can still steamroll people just as long as you have the right setup, just as long as you have the right epics. Overall, Musketeers is a pretty good way to farm in my opinion. That's why I enjoy it a lot. And it's also just pretty easy to play, kind of straightforward. And I would definitely recommend to newer players, try Musket first. Alright, now we have Swashbuckler. Swashbuckler might be a bit of a surprise to some people because of how much they can struggle in-game, especially with sent enemies or enemies at first strike free. Like, you kind of can't hide in-game as a Swashbuckler, but, you know, that's fine by me. I mainly enjoy Swashbuckler because of the aesthetic. And, you know, I love purple, so, you know, if I see something purple, I'm gonna probably like it. I also do enjoy playing as it from time to time. I don't play as it too much, but I at least play it more than Buccaneer and Witch, that's for sure. If done right, though, you can dish out lots of damage. You can prosper as a Swashbuckler. You don't necessarily need hides to win. It's not the end of the world if an enemy has Scent, if an enemy has first strike free. I kind of learned how to deal with that. Like, the key kind of is to try using hides as a more defensive tactic rather than an offensive tactic. Like, that's kind of what I'm doing in the late game. You can't just get away with hiding then attack, and that makes me kind of too easy, especially because hides increase your weapon power by twice your original weapon power. And overall, Swash is a little challenging in endgame, which is what I also like. So that's why Swash for me is a number 3. Alright, I think for number 4, I have to go Buccaneer. For me, Buccaneer and Witch are kind of tied, but I'll place Buccaneer in number 4 just because I play it more than Witch at least. So Buccaneer, they're very tanky, they do loads of damage. They have really amazing charges. They can run Blaze Storm 5. They can run Vision Strike 5. They can just run 5 whatever. Like, Buccaneers, they're broken. Like, they're like Musketeers, but the melee version. But I just don't enjoy playing Buck all that much because it's kind of like just attack. Like, I get that's kind of what Buck is, but It's not that much of my cup of tea. It is pretty cool from time to time for me, but it's not up there. Doing loads of damage can be fun and stuff like that, but Buck just isn't that much for me. Like, I prefer, privy, musket, swash. Like, I kind of just prefer those classes over Buck. Not like Buck is a bad class. I don't think it's a bad class. It's just that I don't enjoy it as much. That's the other thing. It can be fun sometimes. Like, the first time I played it, it was pretty amazing. I love Buck. I thought I was going to main Buck, actually. But I decided, no, I'm going to go privy because I main wife on Wiz. So it might make sense that I main privy on pirate. But yeah, Buck isn't that bad of a class. It isn't really bad. But it's just in number 4 because I don't play it too much. It's not really my first place when it comes to farming or whatever. It's cool, but I just don't use it. And for number 5, we of course have Witch. Witch, I'm gonna admit, Witch has been done pretty dirty. Like, Witch is death, but if we're bad. Like, Witch isn't impossible to play without scratch in game, but it kind of sucks being a Witch in game because you can die easily. You don't have many debuffing spells, which I think Witch definitely should get more debuffing spells. Like, it's kind of, in my opinion, it's kind of ridiculous they don't have debuffing spells, like at least more of them, because they're witches. They should be laying curses on people. From time to time, I do solo on it. I've soloed on Witch quite a few times. It was pretty fun, but I just noticed that I don't play it that much compared to the other 4 classes. If you know how to play the game, however, things can be a little easy as a witch, but for me personally, it's just not. With all of the pirate classes out of the way now, I'm going to go ahead and rank Wiz classes. The list may be a little iffy because I haven't played Wiz in a couple of months, but some of them I definitely know I enjoy, some of them I definitely know I don't enjoy. So let's just go ahead and get into it. Okay, so this may not be a shocker because I literally said I was a life main earlier, but yeah, number 1 is life. I didn't think I'd enjoy life all that much when I first started playing, but then something just lit up in me like, I like healing. I like supporting. I kind of enjoy healing and supporting more than hitting. I don't know where that came from, but I guess I just found myself to be a better healer and supporter rather than a hitter. And the damage output for life, while it's low, it's not as bad as Ice's. No offense to the Ice Wizards, but it's not as bad. I tend to solo a lot on life. I also just really like the aesthetic of life. I love some of the spells like Hungry Caterpillar, Forest Sword, and I just found myself to be playing it quite a lot. So I decided I was gonna main a class. Like, I almost mained Fire, but then I just wanted to main Life instead because I found Fire pretty fun in the moment, but then I just decided to switch to Life. So here I am today, being a Life main. For number 2, we have Storm. Now, Storm may be a shocker to some of you, no pun intended, but I like Storm because, yeah, it's pretty fragile, but it deals loads of damage. Like, yeah, loads of Storms are definitely not the best people, I will say that, but for soloing purposes, it can be pretty fun if you know what you're doing. And even if not, I like the challenging aspect of it because, you're pretty fragile. You can die easily, especially if you're in a 1v4, like I was at one point. It was pretty fun, despite me, dying quite a lot of times. I still enjoyed it. I also just find it a little challenging to solo on. So I decided, Storm's number 2 because I tend to play it quite a bit, and overall, I just find it enjoyable to play than some of the other classes in team play and solo play. For number 3, I think I have to go Death. It's pretty much impossible to die on a Death. Like, maybe unless you deck fail or whatever, but other than that, it's pretty much impossible to die on a Death. They have pretty good damage, they can support well, they have loads of drains, of course. It's just pretty easy for me to play. It can get a little boring from time to time, but its OP-ness is kind of why it's in number 3 mainly. I also like the aesthetic of it. I think it's a pretty cool class. It's really good. I tend to slow quite a lot on a death, but it's usually off camera, and it's pretty easy to cruise on a death. As much as Myth is hated, I'm going to have to place Myth in number 4. Myth in number 4 may be iffy to some people, but I think I personally enjoy it quite a lot. The spells are great, really. Their tank ability is alright, the damage is pretty good. The only issue I really have with Myth is the fact that their minions are pretty much useless by the end of like Arc 1. I don't think they're even pretty much used at all, except maybe like really early game. Which is why I feel kind of sad when Myth's whole identity is kind of useless when it comes to minions and such. But I really do like spells such as Orpheus, which is House Call, Celestial Calendar, stuff like that. I also really want to learn more about mythology as well, like Greek mythology, stuff like that. So I think Myth is also pretty cool for that as well. For number 5, I'm going to put Fire. People say Fire is amazing, and in my opinion, it's not all that great. It can be fun from time to time. I had loads of fun playing it when I first did. I thought I was going to main it, but then I just switched to life. Fires can be pretty good hitters. Their damage, pretty good. It is a little bit of a struggle for me to soul on a Fire, but I can do it. It is possible, of course. I think the class aesthetic is pretty cool, but I just don't play it all that much. It's not that much for me. Occasionally I do, but I don't play it as much as I used to. It kind of dwindled down as I kept playing over the years. I don't think it's a terrible class. I don't think it's that bad, but it's just not my cup of tea. Balance, as far as I can remember, it was kind of fun soloing. It was kind of fun figuring out what to do as a balance. I decided to make that my 6th class. Mainly the only times where soloing as a balance could probably suck is when you're against balance bosses. Like, I remember having struggles against mainly balance bosses, but for that I would just have a balance boss deck for those types of guys. And it can kind of sting when you have to empower or something like that, because, you know, universal buffs, which is what balance has. But I tend to carry Cleanse Charm, Pierce, whatever I need to carry to get around those roadblocks. It's also pretty strong, and I really do like a few spells for that class. I think it's a pretty cool class. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I think all the classes are cool. But in my opinion, balance is just not up there for me because, you know, I don't play it too much. I don't find it that enjoyable. But props to the people who made balance. Like, shout out to you guys. Now, of course, number 7, Ice. This may be a bit of a shocker because I literally put Life at number 1. So yeah, I can see how it might be crazy that I put Ice at number 7. I'm gonna admit, I play Ice the least. I don't enjoy the damage output. Like, yeah, Life is weak, but they can at least do a bit more damage than Ice. I really do like the aesthetic of Ice. Ice has pretty cool spells, but the fact they get Ice Blade at level 38 isn't really doing them any favors. Like, it's kind of impossible to die as an Ice, but the battles will pretty slow. I don't necessarily hate Ice. I think it's a pretty class. It's pretty lovely, but it's just not that much for me. I just want to say shout out to the Ice mains out there. I've met many Ice mains who are extremely chill, who were extremely lovely to be around, and Ice mains are probably my favorite type of people because they tend to be the most chill people out there. And while their damage output isn't the best, they can be pretty good tanks. Like, yeah, other classes can tank, but Ice pretty much, I think, does it the best. I could be wrong. I haven't played the game in a couple of months now, almost 3 months. But if Ice maybe just had a bit more damage output, I think I would enjoy it more because I think there's kind of no reason as to why my Blade of Forest Sword is like 5k or 6k, while my Blade of Frost Giant does like 3k, 4k, whatever. The damage difference is really drastic. So really, shout out to the Ice Wizards because I don't know how y'all do it, but y'all really do have loads of patience. And I believe those are my rankings of all the Pirate 101 and Wizard 101 classes. These lists may be subject to change, but for now, these are how I rank the classes that I enjoyed the most to least. What class is your favorite? What class is your least favorite? Feel free to drop your opinions down below in the comment section. Just be respectful. With all that said, I'll see you guys later, and have a lovely day. Bye!